As you can see, the story of this family didn't have a happy ending. The thing is, something about this house was familiar. I couldn't put my finger on it at first, but it was like I had been here all my life. And I realized what it was. This was the house I grew up in. The basement, down to the last detail, was exactly how it was when I lived here. Of course, were a few new things, but overall, it was the same room. I understood why Manny took me here now. I still didn't know what exactly it was that Manny was planning, but I understood that this was the perfect place for whatever it was. It was poetic in a way, but more in a way of that was meant to mock me rather than celebrate the fact that we grew up together. As I realized this, the TV began making static noises, and then it turned on it turned on by itself and started playing a news segment. A family of 6 have been murdered in their own. It started to glitch out, and pretty soon the TV shut off. Then the hide and seek Harry spoke. I'm hiding. Can you find me? I didn't know what could have triggered the hide and seek Harry, but I didn't have a good feeling about it. Then I heard banging on one of the doors. The banging got louder and louder, and then a hole burst through the door. I got to see what it was that was banging on the door. Here's Johnny. The cheese fig burst through the door, and I backed away from it, but then I bumped into something behind me, and when I turned around, I saw exactly what it was. As soon as I saw him, I backed away, and when I did, I heard laughter from behind me. Tee, tee, tee. I turned around and I saw exactly who it was. PT punched me right in the stomach, and the force was so much that it felt like a million freight trains were ramming into me all at once. I flew in the air and slammed into the wall, and I was too tired to do anything. As PT and the other things stood there staring at me, other creatures started walking out of the shadows too, like those 2 guys from the broadcast, the bug creature and Joey. Pretty soon I was cornered with all of the horrific nightmares I'd faced throughout the week, standing in front of me all together in one room. Then the hide and seek Harry toy turned on by itself. 5 name Clive, 5 name Clive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 name Clive. As the hide and seek Harry toy kept singing, the TV turned on again, and images of horrific monsters flashed on the screen as the song played on the TV as well. 5 name Clive, 5 name Clive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 name Clive. The singing got louder and louder, and the upstairs basement door opened by itself. I could make it out something small at the top of the stairs. Then I got a good look at it, and I saw exactly what it was. It was Manny's old tinfoil boil that he made for me as an apology way back then. I don't know how he got it or how it's still here, but apparently it's still here somehow. It started rolling down the stairs by itself, and it continued to roll across the floor. When it got to the basement, the song kept playing as it moved across the floor, and eventually it got to my feet and stopped playing. The singing continued until... eventually got to my feet and stopped. The singing continued until the TV and the hide and seek Harry shut off and the singing stopped. Then he appeared.
5 name Clive, 5 name Clive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 name Clive.
Manny stood in front of me, looking down at me. He grinned with his sharp yellow teeth, clearly amused with my fear and shock, and he spoke to me.
Family reunions are the best, aren't they, Bobby?
Manny laughed and went on some more.
Ever since you broke my attachment to you, I haven't been able to affect the physical world like I wanted, so I decided to call up a few old friends and have them do it for me.
I asked him what he meant by that, and he laughed before he answered.
Don't you remember Johnny Cheddar, Charles Tribble, the other Charles Tribble?
Then I realized what they were. Johnny Cheddar, Charles Tribble, and the other Charles Tribble were all the names of Manny's imaginary friends that he had when he was little. And I remembered that PT was the name of one of his imaginary friends too. I told him that was impossible, and that they were imaginary and not real. Manny laughed and went on.
It's called a tuplar, Bobby. Back when I was a kid, they weren't real. They were just in my imagination. But now, they have been given flesh as sentient conscious entities. Now what was once imaginary has become reality. And like me, they can do whatever they want in the real world.
He told his friends that there was much to do and that it was time to head out and get the party started. Manny said that the wedding was only the beginning, and that he was going to spread his carnage all across town, and that once he was done, he was going to turn Plainview into his own personal playground of slaughter. His bloodthirsty friends all hurried out of the basement with excitement, eager to get more blood in their hands. Manny stayed in the basement, and pretty soon, something began emerging from the ground.
Oh, And speaking of imagination brought to life,
The thing began to materialize and take shape, and pretty soon I saw exactly what it was.
you remember the Grouts, don't you, Bobby?
The Grout, the nightmare of my childhood, had been brought to life by Manny's twisted machinations. Pretty soon, the thing fully materialized, and I was face to face with my worst nightmares. It was realer than real, just as terrifying as I imagined and eager to sink its teeth into me and do all the horrible things I was so afraid of it doing to me back when it was merely a teenager's overreactive imagination. Manny laughed as the Grout stood in front of me, ready to tear me apart. Tear me apart.
I'm glad I could help you two reacquainted. I have important things to do, so I'll catch up. So I'll leave you two to catch up.
Manny disappeared and I was left in the basement of the Grout. I knew that I was toast unless I thought something fast, and luckily I did. I waited for it to lunge at me, and sure enough it did. And when it did, I made my escape. I jumped out of the way and sprinted towards the stairs. It chased after me, but luckily I made it up the stairs just in time and shut the door behind me, locking it in the basement. I looked around the living room and I saw someone on the couch. I went up and got a good look at them, and I saw exactly who it was. Roderick was out cold, and I tried to wake him up, but it was clear he wouldn't budge. Eventually I got him up and he began to adjust to his surroundings. Roderick asked what was going on, so I told him we were kidnapped. I said I'd explain more later, but that for now we should probably get going. Just then I heard noises coming from the pipes, and I could already tell that whatever it wasn't good. After a minute or so, the noises stopped and it was quiet for a while. That's when the Grout popped out of the kitchen sink. Now, the thing about dealing with this kind of crap is that you at least somewhat know what to expect. But up until this point, Roderick had no idea anything like this even existed. So to say that Roderick freaked out is a huge understatement. Greg, what on earth is that? The Grout launched at us, and we ran away as quick as we could. We made it out to the door, and we ran out of the house and sprinted through the neighborhood. Eventually, we went into the woods and lost him there. Once me and Roderick were sure that the Grout was gone, we stopped to catch our breath. We decided it was a good idea to sit down and rest before we did anything else. Now I'm here writing in my journal. Nothing else has really happened. The Grout is still out there looking for us, but I'm sure we've lost it. I just heard something. Roderick can hear it too. It's getting closer.